And now I'm gonna introduce a guy who's probably about half my age, and I'm not even old. Please, Jake, come to the stage, buddy.
Wow, this is just awesome. Looking out and seeing all of you guys. It's pretty crazy. It literally felt like just yesterday. It was like October, November, that I'm sitting in my room on Skype with Austin and Xander, and we're like, what should we call this thing? Like maybe 2022, which ended up being the theme party, but it just didn't have that full thing. And then we found the word Kaizen. And Kaizen, when we figured out what it meant, we were like, that's it. Or at least I was freaking out. I loved it. Xander loved it. And that was half of it. And Kaizen means continuous growth and development in Japanese. But that was a big part of it, but not the full part. Because this experience, this event, this dinner series is also about the connection and having those deep bonds and where you can laugh or cry with someone. So that was how we birthed the Kaizen Connection on our Skype calls back in October, November. But I thought I'd take a quick step back and explain really how this event came to be. Back in July, I had the opportunity to attend this 5-day success seminar called Breakthrough to Success by Jack Canfield and his lovely, amazing team. They put it on. And I was really excited. I'd never really gone to something like this. I was a little nervous because I thought I'd be one of the younger guys. And being one of the younger guys, apparently out of 400 people from 20 different countries, I'm the only one who wanted a roommate. So I'm fully prepared. I'm like, all right, I'll just get a room to myself and be lonely. But I get a call 2 days before the event from someone in Jack's office, and they're like, Jake, we have this last-minute sign-up, and he wants a roommate. So I'm like, cool. So I roll up to Arizona, and I, put my little key card in the thing, and I open up, and my life changed forever. Because I met this dashing young man named Xander Fryer, who turns out 400 people, 20 different countries, we went to the same high school and grew up in the same town. He's just a tad bit older. Just a wee bit. So, and one of the coolest things about this entire seminar, it was really transformative, but it was about the people that I met, and one of which was Xander, and we became accountability buds, which is our way of saying we're accountability partners. We talk every week to help keep each other accountable for our goals. And after this event, Xander, me and him are on the phone one day, and he tells me about this experience that he went to called the 747 Club. He went to one of Chris's dinners, had the pasta sauce, it changed his life. And Xander was telling me he wanted to put on an experience like that for his community, for our community. And when he told me about that, it just struck a chord in me. And I said, dude, I'm in. And part of me had no idea what I was getting myself into, but I'm super glad I said yes. But the reason I felt such a draw to put on this event has to do a little bit with my own story, which I kind of like to say is a young dude version of Eat, Pray, Love meets Into the Wild, but with a happy ending. So I never ate the berries. So about 2.5 years ago, I started my freshman year at the Ohio State University, and like most high school kids, I was so stoked. I couldn't wait for the fun parties and all the good stuff that college is supposed to have. But like Forrest Gump says, life is like a box of chocolates, and you don't always know what you're going to get. And a couple days after arriving at school, I broke out in hives and rashes all over my body, and it was really aggravating. And unfortunately, almost every day for the rest of the semester, I was breaking out with these hives and rashes. And I saw doctors, immunologists, dermatologists. I had the pills, creams, tests, tubes, the whole 9 yards. And they didn't know what was wrong either. So they diagnosed me with chronic urticaria, which is a fancy name for saying your skin's freaking out and we don't know why. Which is the worst thing to hear. But during this time, I developed severe anxiety and I became really unhappy. But the blessing in all this was I started to question the why in almost every aspect of my life. Why am I here? Why am I in school? And I realized that there was this huge disconnect, that I had no passion for what I was pursuing. And I had this dream of exploration. And I would sit in my bed at night and I would just imagine myself like trekking in these foreign lands. And after months and months kind of going back and forth, I eventually took my leap of faith. And 2 months later, I hopped on a one-way flight to Guatemala with a backpack, no phone, other than hola and gracias. I did not speak Spanish. And I spent 4 months teaching English, living on a beach, building eco-lodges, doing all these different things. And the experience was so transformative for me that I knew I had to share this message with the world. I was going to write a book. So literally the day after I returned, I start writing the first words to this draft. And I spent the next 16 months like partially in a cave, like writing 100,000 words in 3 months, funding a Kickstarter campaign, doing whatever I could to get this message out to the world. But one of the things that I didn't realize during this process, and I published it, of course, in September, is that it really isolated me. And I found that as I was kind of stepping into this new version of myself who had kind of different ambitions, I was looking for people who were kind of on the same path as me, that I felt like this disconnect. In the most connected world ever, where we're all in technology, I needed that community, that face-to-face interaction, that energy that just can't be replicated. And so when Xander spoke about that, this idea, it spoke to me because I needed this. I needed those dinners where we shed tears together, we laughed together, we made jokes together, we made fun of Chris together. And that really, for me, was the draw to this whole experience. So I hope that everyone here gets a chance to have some of these moments that I actually, for me, embody what connection is. And I'll take you guys back real quick to my travels. I spent 2 weeks living on a spiritual community on this island in Nicaragua. People actually went naked in this community, like fully naked, but I'm not going to make anyone do that tonight. But in this community, we did a lot of things that for me were like just different, like meditation and eating breakfast in silence. And one of my favorite things about this community was on Wednesday nights, there was this thing called Sharing Circle. And you would go around in the circle and spend 2 minutes with each person. First, like awkwardly looking at them like this close and not saying anything. Like I just wanted to say something so badly. I'm kind of awkward in those situations. But then you would spend a minute expressing your gratitude for this person. And some of the feelings I felt in this community after I left, I realized had been missing in my life for so long. This true sense of connection. So, and one of the ways to connect in this community was a lot of hugging. And it's a big part of what I got to do at the Canfield seminars, where we need 12 hugs a day. So I'm going to ask everyone to stand up. I know this is total kumbaya, woo-woo. It totally is. Just, I want you to find 2 people and give them a big old hug. I love it. This is turning into a soap opera.
Almost there.
You guys can take a seat after you get your 2, or in this case, many hugs. I could honestly, the energy in the room right now after that is insane. To bring someone up in a minute who, if you went to the San Diego dinners, and I was telling you about this guy, I literally describe him as the brightest guy I've ever met. And I do not say that lightly. This guy is a dear friend of mine. He's a mentor to me. He's a brother, a role model. He inspires me in just how this guy lives his life. He is the reason we are all here tonight. This guy's worked so hard behind the scenes to get everyone here. When I've been freaking out, like just trying to learn this whole process of like getting people here, I like call him, I'm like, dude, like I'm freaking out. He's like, Jake, breathe. But yeah, so I would love everyone could give a huge warm welcome for the man, the myth, the legend, Xander Fryer.